going on, everyone? This is your boy AshTheMan, and thank you so much for tuning in. So we are here to talk about ID Invaded, and the discussion video this is going to focus around is the ID well, the machine of the world of the killing. Now, before I go ahead and get started with this, I just definitely want to ask you guys if you can help me out by subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification button, and leave a comment below about the discussion video. We definitely want to talk about this. So let's definitely jump into this. Now, the ID well is based on a person's unconscious mind, where they create this world based on cognition particles that is detected by Wako Subai. Now, Kira, which is the organization that is behind the investigating the observation of the individual who dives into the ID well to be able to investigate the unconscious mind of the word of the killing of the murderer or the person of the time. Now, it definitely does hold some mysteries to it, but let's cover what we already know about it, and that is this world can definitely change on the characteristics of the person or the type of killing that's going on. Every time he dives into the well, they supposedly lose their memories, and those will retain anything that is from the outside world to being able to investigate the murder of Cairo. Now, in them investigating the murder of Cairo, because Cairo is always present, they're dead or she just died. So with that being said, they investigate the mass of the world to being able to determine, location, the murderer's intent, who the next victim might be. This range hits a lot of key points that makes the ID well a flawless investigation tool to being able to, stop, mass murderers for continuing. Now, for what we know already, a few people ID well has been investigated. Like Furukuda was the first world that we have seen. Then it was Handamochi, which Handamochi world was kind of weird in a way. It was just nothing but planes and just drills. Maybe because she just received a drill in her head. I don't know. You got Koja, you got Genpais, you got Harukas, you got Nihoshis, and then you got Akihatos, which is the most diverse at this point since it's the latest well that everybody has dived into. Now, the people who can dive into the well, it consists of three individuals. Of course, it's Hakihato, which she goes in there as Sakaido. It's Handamochi, which she does retain her name, retain her certain personality, but just like Akihatos, she doesn't retain no memories. Now, Furukuda, he's the other one, but for some reason he's able to, retain his memories, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. But however, that's what we could cover about the ID well at this point. Now, some of the mysteries that goes behind it is when a few episodes where it started off where Handamochi discovered that there was a second well in the unconscious mind of Akihatos. Now, when she dived in there, pretty much she was off grid. So at this point, we could confirm that when you dive into the second well, Kira investigation, the people that's participating in this, they cannot, observe the second well within the well. So it literally cuts off the point, and we don't know what's everything retaining up to this point until we got a chance to see Akihatos when he entered the well, and they ended up going in. They were supposedly go inside Mimoxi well, and they didn't end up going in his well, and I'll explain that a little bit. But when they entered the well, they found the second well, and Akihatos, aka Sakaido, he supposedly was supposed to go in that second well and only be in there for 10 minutes. But however, he ended up experiencing a lifestyle of 2 years in there, which is very interesting because he got a chance to change some things that didn't happen in his normal timeline. For instance, like the Challenger and the way he was beating Cairo, aka Kiki. He was able to interrupt that. He was able to stop the Challenger so that he didn't murder his daughter, and he was actually able to spend more time with his family and got a chance to have a one-on-one with Cairo to understand little things more. You got to understand that, he was able to, to kind of like dive into her memories and see everything that she has been experiencing, because for every day now she's been re-experiencing the Challenger and the murder, getting transported to the hospital, and then that night some murderer comes and murder her. And that's been going on ever since John Walker the first time he ever visited her in her dreams to murder her. He just been like, people just been taking turns, and it's been happening countless days. Now, I don't know if that's a reference to the the relive reality that Akihato's in, or is that referring to the real world? But at this point, we can honestly assume that may just retain to what the real world is, because Kiki definitely has a core founding in the ID world. And this is one of the facts that I wanted to go over. That's entirely is because every time you seen them dive into any world, Cairo is there dead, and they recite that they have to find the mystery of why Cairo is dead, and that leads them into like finding, different, evidence or relative information according to the current case that they are working on. So with that being said, I believe that Cairo does have a point to where they generating this machine or able to predict or create these worlds based on how killers is killing Kiki. That's why the main director is like a main suspect in who is John Walker, because you got to think about it like this, like Cairo is always in there, dead some way in a different scenario. You have different murderers who's coming in there, murdering her every night. Reality or not, it happens. Even if it's just a dream world, and if that's what's going on, it can create the scenario or create a relatable scenario that can be able to be able to solve these cases. So I think the guy who's in charge is the main guy for the identity of John Walker. But in this case, we're talking about the ID world. Now, there's some other information that is kind of crazy, because I mentioned that Furukuda, he was able to retain his memories, and that's crazy because everybody's characteristics when they dive into the world is different. Akihato's, he retained the same kind of like process how he solves the mysteries before. He just doesn't retain his memories, doesn't retain his name. He go by this new persona Sakaido, which is like a younger version of himself. Being that he's not influenced about the current events that's currently going on in his life, as far as the murder of his daughter and his wife committing suicide. Now Hanamochi, she's able to keep her same personality, same demeanor, same name, just no memories. So that's kind of interesting to see that. Now Furukuda, he played everybody for fools. He's able to still keep his same memory. He keeps his same demeanor every day. Everything that he retained in the outside world, he retains in the ID world. And that's been confirmed by episode 10. And that's very dangerous, because we don't know what he can possibly do. We just know that at this point, with him revealing certain things to Sakaido, he was able to have the well create a well typhoon. And we don't know what this is going to do. And at this point, they consider it to be very dangerous. So that is definitely something crazy. So with everything that we revealed over, we can consider that one, that a well can appear within a well, and that the Kira investigation team, they cannot see the second well events that happen. We know that the second well retain them in a position that happened in the past. Maybe it's connected to the main person well that you in. So if you're in, let's just say if you like this, they in Akihato's well, it probably went to a memory that kind of like did a course of action for him, like a certain transition that transpired to get him to the person that he is now, and that's probably why it went to that specific past. Now, the perception of time is definitely different when you go inside of a well within a well, because Hanamochi entered the well way before Akihato. But however, he experienced 2 years where Hanamochi only experienced, I think, maybe 2 days. So the perception of time is weird, and it's definitely, you know, will throw you in a mind fuck if you ever really think it, excuse my language. But another thing is that like the well, when you enter it, depending on the person, definitely have different characteristics. And for the Kuda, since he drilled something in like drilled that little hole in his head, maybe that, you know, certain part that usually supposed to be there kind of like threw the ID well on how they functions out of whack, so he's able to retain his memories and everything. That's a high possibility, and I think they're gonna dive into that a little bit more. And we just now figured out that there's a certain condition that shouldn't be met in a well, or it's going to create an ID well typhoon. So that's the things that we can confirm right now, and then some of the mysteries that can definitely be unraveled when it's talking about Cairo being the main core, due to the fact that she's being present there every time. So yeah, that's everything that I think I could cover with the ID well at this point. I think a lot of answers is going to come out in the last 2 episodes. Some may not, because, you know, of course, with this only being season 1, 12 episodes, and we only experienced 10. I'm not sure if they're going to just overload us with information. I think they're still going to go on to the case and revealing who John Walker is. I think the ID will holds more mysteries than what is being presented, and, you know, this is just me just diving right into it. But again, I just definitely want to thank you guys for definitely tuning into this you know, discussion video of the ID invaded ID well discussion. Leave a comment below what you guys think. If it's something that I didn't cover, definitely hit it in the comment section. If you feel like, you know, maybe your ideas may be a little different than mine, still hit me in the comment section. Definitely appreciate that. Don't forget to hit a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button. Other than that, AshTheMan out, breaking the noise, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.